Doodling is not sketching, it is not drawing, it is not painting, it is doodling. It sounds like it is doodling, 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 doodling. It is silly. It is pure entertainment. It is nonsense, but nonsense on the most profound level of nonsense because it is supposed to be nonsense. It is supposed to be something that you do without too much thinking, without planning, without even the execution part is not really that important. I mean, it's really nice if it comes out pretty, and it's really nice if it comes out as a whole picture, and you can fill the whole page with doodles that actually make sense. Maybe even create some kind of a story, a mini story, some narrative, there's some characters. It is not exactly comics. I mean, comics would be comics, or how we used to call them, the graphic novels. It was a book that has characters, has paintings, has drawings. It is a whole thing. It is a story. It usually has the stories inside this story. Doodlings is the other side of it. It is a snapshot. It is not something that is supposed to be long term. It is not something that is supposed to evolve. The characters are not there as characters, they are there as doodles. They are there because I decided that today it would really make me laugh if I paint pirates on a spaceship with a giraffe holding an RPG. Doodling for me, other than being therapy, it is also a good exercise. But let's start with the therapy part. I actually started this whole daily doodle exercise because of an experiment I used to do for years with writing. They say that if you start every morning by writing a full page of your thoughts or whatever you want to put in words at that moment, even if you don't have anything to write, you just write, I don't have anything to write, I don't understand why I have to do this exercise, this is so stupid, I have to fill the whole page, what am I doing here? By the time you reach to the end of the page, you actually do say something, and you do say something that will make your life better. It is kind of therapy. You take it out, you put it on the page. Usually it helps with solidifying ideas or playing with what you think, and maybe you can start some kind of a discourse, some kind of a conversation with yourself about the things that you are interested in, the things that you want to do, the things that you need to do, the things that you are forced to do. It is a very good tool, and I have to say that I have enjoyed it. I've done it for a couple of years. Every morning you take one page and you just fill it up with words. Now I said, okay, I have already done that exercise. I want to do another exercise. I want to do the same thing, but with doodling. Because it's the same kind of automatic creation where you don't think so much and you let your brain just overflow on the page. It is the kind of exercise that let you get out of the chains of normal thinking, of critical thinking, of what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong. When I started this daily doodle project, I said, okay, one page in the morning, one page in the evening. And I started filling out the pages in the morning, and I started filling out the pages in the evening. And to tell you the truth, in the beginning it was quite horrible because I haven't touched a pen for a couple of years, half a decade at least. Just because we have all these tools now, the digital tool, I usually work more with photography, with Photoshop, with animation, with things that are a little bit more digitally manufactured. And I almost forgot what it feels like to have a pen in your hand or a brush in your hand if you want to be artistic. For me, the pen works perfectly, especially for this kind of exercise. And I've chosen the kind of pens which are not too subtle, not too small. When you do a line, it is more deliberate, it is thicker, it is more a controlling element on the page. It is not those, very, very shy, thin lines trying to form something. You have to be brave in order to paint with a big pen. You have to be brave in order to say, okay, I'm going to put this line here. I really hope it will work. If it doesn't work, well, I have a problem. I can turn it into a wing, I can turn it into something else, but in the end, I do have some kind of deeper responsibility and a more sense of risk when I'm using a larger pen. Now, as I said, this started as therapy and it was amazing. I had so much fun. In the beginning, I was really bad. 2 days later, I started to get results which are a little bit more, not artistic, but they just look better. It's like anything else that you do. If you exercise, you will be better in what you're doing. And this first week of going from what is this strange pen in my hand, what do I do with this, to hey, that looks really cool. That week was extremely beneficial, if only for my mental health. Because it feels good when you try to do something and you do it again and you do it again, and suddenly you start getting results. Now, the results that I wanted to get were not pretty, they were not professional, they were just, I want to express myself on this page. And I want to do it in the best possible way that I can in this format. Paper with a pen, drawing doodles. Doodle, doodle, doodle. Not drawing sketches, not drawing drawings, not doing any paintings or artwork. It is doodling. Now, this is the part of the therapy, and I have to say that it was very important. But other than that, doodling, by definition, because these are things that are in your feverish mind, your imagination, that you put out on the page, it has a different kind of exercise in it. It is an exercise that wakes up parts of your brain that are usually dormant, that are usually active when you're younger, when you're a boy, when you have this vivid imagination where everything is possible, where most things are probable, where there are no limits to what your imagination can produce. And when I say no limits, I mean exactly that. Really no limits, because it is inside your head. The only limit is what you can show to the outside world of what's inside your head. And so I started doing this exercise of developing the imagination as I produce more and more doodling. And it started from one A4 page in the morning, one A4 page at night. After a week, it already transformed into, let's say, 5 pages in the morning, 3 at night, sometimes less, sometimes more. But I was just sitting there and enjoying the whole process of doodling. I put some music, maybe I put a lecture or a podcast or something like that, and then I can just hear something that is almost like white noise. I'm not even sure if the lecture I'm listening to is the white noise for the doodling, or the doodling is the white noise for the lecture. But in the end of the day, both things benefit, because I do listen to the lecture without even noticing it. I mean, everything still goes inside. And I've actually checked and re-watched a couple of lectures and found out that yes, I don't remember hearing that because I was doodling, but I remember that. And I always like this concept of white noise. For example, when I had periods where I was reading a lot, and reading a lot meaning one book a day, I used to go to the coffee shop under my house and just sit there for full days. 9 o'clock in the morning until 6 in the evening, sit there, read, eat, read, drink some more, and the whole atmosphere, the fact that there were people walking by, the fact that there were waiters walking around, even the conversations of people in the tables near me were that white noise that helped me actually focus more on what I was reading. So, doing a doodling, exercising the doodling muscle while listening to a podcast, while listening to a lecture, seemed just effective. It works. And when I do that, I can almost completely get lost inside the doodling world. Now, the doodling world is the most fun place in the world. The doodling world was born when you're 8 years old and you're sitting in the back of the class in the corner with your notebooks, and instead of listening to the teacher, you're drawing cartoons of aliens and of pirates and of women riding dinosaurs and of clowns fighting with machetes and axes. All the things that an 8-year-old boy would imagine. Um, I have to say that looking at the doodling that I produce today, I see that I have not changed that much since I was 8 years old. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. The minute that I started letting all these ideas flow, it was almost natural for me to start producing these different characters with their mini stories, with their instant identities. It could start with a nose, and from there the whole character get its own ambient, get it all. Well, character is the word. The character has a character. How do you take 8 lines, 10 lines, and produce a character? So I always start with eyes, for example. Not always, but generally, because that is not only the center of the face, it will also let me know what the rest of the face will look like, especially if I'm starting to do angry eyes or very, very sad eyes. Then you already, from the first 4 lines, start to get something rolling. And this something rolling is the whole concept of doodling, because you just have to kickstart it. From there, it should all go automatically. Again, this is not art. You are not painting somebody. You are not using a model. You are not even trying to tell a story. This has to be the natural flow of having fun, of tickling your brain. And this is where I started exercising a little bit more this imagination, because you start thinking, okay, we have person has 2 eyes. Now an alien will come, maybe he'll have different eyes, so let's start doing like insect eyes, or let's start doing bigger eyes, or in different places on the head. Now if we have 3 eyes, where would you put the third one? Will you put it on the top of the head, behind the head, above, under? And when you have 4, will it be just 2 couple of eyes, 2 in the back, 2 in the front? And I started actually doing a kind of a stupid research, which means, okay, I will now paint these 8 different aliens. Each one of them will have one more eye, and then I will see where I can put all these eyes. Now, I am not a very good doodler. I have a very limited sense of doodling. I have seen some people doing 3D work and some amazing compositions of characters coming in, going out, jumping, fighting, flying. And I cannot do that. For me, it's more or less like the old Egyptians. You can either do straightforward or a profile looking to the side. I might risk doing a 3/4 kind of thing, but that doesn't always work. It's just harder. And doodling is not supposed to be hard. Doodling is supposed to be therapy. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be an exercise of the imagination. I deeply recommend anyone who has anything to do with any kind of creative activity to start doodling. Ugly, simple, horrible, I cannot let anyone else see this page doodling. Take a page, take a pen, start drawing. It doesn't matter what you draw. Draw a flower, draw a cow, draw a house, keep on drawing. After a couple of minutes, you will see that you have exhausted all the things that you know how to paint, like a cow, a flower, a house. And then you start thinking, okay, what can I paint now? Now, again, the advice that I give is be as bad as you can, at least in the beginning. It is doodling. It is doodling. It is not art. It is not design. There is nothing to be judgmental about. There is nothing to measure here. The only thing that doodling is supposed to be is doodling. If you like it, if it gives you some kind of benefit, if you enjoy exercising and tickling your brain, if you enjoy accessing a different level of imagination, you've got doodling. One nice point about doodling is that it is supposed to be silly. Silly is a key word here. Most people don't know it, but the origins of the word silly are actually healthy, productive, innocent, and blessed. Blessed, silly. It is not stupid, it is not ignorant, it is silly, it is having fun, it is being naive, it is not knowing the rules, it's not even breaking the rules, it is not knowing the rules. Doodling is supposed to be silly. You have to dig deep inside yourself in order to get to that point where silliness really makes you blessed.